Have you ever had a moment where your words came out completely wrong? Where you meant one thing but it sounded like something else entirely? That's exactly what happened to me that summer day on the beach. If you've ever been misunderstood or had to navigate the complicated world of dating as a single parent, you'll want to stay for this entire story. Like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell if you want more real-life stories about the messy, beautiful journey of single parenthood and unexpected connections. The sun beat down mercilessly on my shoulders as I tried to keep an eye on Lily, my 7-year-old daughter, who was building what she called a sand castle kingdom near the shoreline. I hadn't planned on coming to the beach today. In fact, I hadn't planned on doing anything remotely fun for months. But Lily had looked up at me with those eyes, her mother's eyes, and asked if we could please go to the beach because she'd been good all week. How could I say no? It had been 18 months since Sarah's accident, 18 months of just trying to keep it together for our daughter. I was distracted, thinking about the pile of bills waiting at home and the email from my boss about another weekend I'd need to work, when Lily squealed with delight. She'd found a perfect shell, apparently, and was running toward a woman who had set up her beach chair about 20 feet from our towels. I hadn't noticed her before, which was surprising because she was striking, with dark curly hair pulled into a messy bun and skin that had clearly seen its fair share of sunshine. "Look what I found," Lily was saying, holding up her shell to the stranger. "It's perfect for the Queen's Tower." I jogged over, embarrassed. "I'm so sorry," I said, reaching for Lily's hand. She gets excited about her beach treasures. The woman smiled, and something in my chest shifted uncomfortably. It had been so long since I'd noticed anyone that way. "No problem at all," she said. I was actually admiring her castle from afar. It's quite the architectural achievement. I realized I was staring at her, not just at her face, but taking in all of her. The curve of her neck, the freckles on her shoulders, the way her swimsuit hugged her figure. It wasn't intentional, just the rusty reflexes of a man who hadn't looked at a woman as anything other than his daughter's teacher or his colleague in far too long. She cleared her throat and said with a hint of amusement, "Eyes are up here." Heat rushed to my face. "I'm a single dad, not blind," I blurted out, immediately wanting to sink into the sand and disappear. "I mean, I'm sorry. That came out wrong. I didn't mean to." She laughed, a genuine laugh that made the corners of her eyes crinkle. "Relax. I was just teasing." She extended her hand. "I'm Elena." "James," I managed, still mortified. "And this is Lily. Nice to meet you both. Are you local?" "I just moved into the blue house on Maple Street last month." My embarrassment gave way to surprise. "The Victorian with the wraparound porch?" "That's 3 doors down from us." "Well, hello neighbor," Elena said, her smile widening. "Small world." Lily tugged at my hand. "Daddy, can she help with my castle? She looks like she'd be good at making towers." I started to apologize again, but Elena was already standing up, brushing sand from her legs. "I would be honored to assist with royal construction," she said to Lily with a small bow that made my daughter giggle. That was how it started, with an embarrassing comment, a shell, and a sand castle. I had no idea then how Elena would change our lives, or how much healing was possible when you least expect it. The next few hours passed in a blur of sand sculptures, seagull chasing, and conversations that flowed easier than any I'd had in years. Elena was a marine biologist who'd moved to our small coastal town for a research position at the local university. She told us about the different shells we found, explaining to Lily which creatures had once called them home. My daughter was enthralled, and I found myself equally captivated, not just by Elena's knowledge, but by the way she spoke to Lily with respect, never talking down to her. When the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the beach, I realized we'd spent the entire day with this woman who had been a stranger just hours before. "We should probably head home," I said reluctantly. "It's getting close to dinner time." "Oh. Elena looked at her watch, surprised. I didn't realize how late it was. I haven't even unpacked my kitchen yet. I was planning to grab takeout. We're having spaghetti, Lily announced. Daddy makes the best spaghetti in the whole world. You should come eat with us. I froze. We hadn't had anyone over since Sarah died. Our house was functional but hardly welcoming, dishes sometimes piled in the sink, laundry often waiting to be folded on the couch. But before I could formulate a polite way to rescind my daughter's invitation, Elena was looking at me with a question in her eyes. You're welcome to join us, I heard myself saying. It's nothing fancy, but there's plenty. Are you sure? I don't want to impose. You spent your day helping build a sand kingdom. The least we can do is feed you. She smiled that smile again, the one that made something long dormant stir inside me. In that case, I accept. Thank you. Walking back to our neighborhood with Elena and Lily, I felt a strange mixture of anxiety and anticipation. Our house wasn't just messy, it was a shrine to the life we'd lost. Sarah's reading glasses still sat on the side table by her favorite armchair. Her gardening books remained stacked on the shelf where she'd left them. I hadn't been able to change anything, as if maintaining the exact arrangement of our home might somehow preserve her presence. This is us, I said when we reached our driveway, suddenly self-conscious. It's not much, but... It's charming, Elena said, looking at our modest two-story with genuine appreciation. Those hydrangeas are gorgeous. Those were my mommy's, Lily said matter-of-factly. She's in heaven now, but Daddy keeps her flowers alive. Elena's eyes met mine, filled with understanding and compassion. Your daddy must have quite the green thumb then. Not really, I admitted. I just couldn't bear to let them die. Something passed between us in that moment, an acknowledgement of loss, of struggle, of trying to keep something beautiful alive despite everything. Inside, I hurried to clear away the breakfast dishes I'd left in the sink and gather the pile of clean laundry from the couch. Sorry about the mess, I called from the kitchen. Single parenting doesn't leave much time for house beautiful aspirations. Elena appeared in the doorway, already helping Lily wash her hands at the sink. Please, you should see my place, boxes everywhere and I've been eating off paper plates for a month. As I started dinner, Elena and Lily set the table, their chatter filling the house with a warmth I hadn't realized was missing. When was the last time these walls had heard laughter? When was the last time I'd cooked for someone other than Lily and myself? Over spaghetti, Elena told us more about her work studying coastal ecosystems and the impact of climate change on marine life. She had a way of explaining complex concepts that made them accessible even to Lily, who peppered her with questions about whales and sharks and whether mermaids could be real. Scientifically speaking, there's no evidence for mermaids, Elena said seriously. But the ocean is vast and we've only explored a tiny fraction of it. So I never say never. This delighted Lily, who launched into a detailed description of what she thought mermaids really looked like, based on her extensive research, which consisted primarily of animated movies and picture books. After dinner, while Lily was showing Elena her collection of seashells from previous beach trips, I stood in the kitchen doorway watching them. There was an ease between them that reminded me painfully of Sarah and Lily together. I must have made some sound, because Elena looked up, her expression softening when she saw my face. Everything okay? She asked quietly. I nodded, not trusting myself to speak. How could I explain that having her here felt both wonderful and terrible? That seeing Lily so animated made me realize how subdued she'd been for months. That I felt guilty for enjoying Elena's company so much. Later, after Lily's bath and bedtime story, I walked Elena to the door. Thank you, I said. For today. For being kind to Lily. She hasn't been that excited about anything in a long time. She's an amazing kid, Elena said. You're doing a great job with her. I laughed, a short, humorless sound. Most days I feel like I'm barely keeping us afloat. That's still swimming, she pointed out. And from what I can see, you're doing more than just staying afloat. That little girl is loved and secure and curious about the world. That's no small achievement. Her words hit me with unexpected force, and I had to look away to compose myself. Well, thanks for the vote of confidence. Elena hesitated, then said, I'm having a small housewarming gathering next Saturday afternoon. Nothing fancy, just a few colleagues from the university and now some neighbors. You and Lily would be welcome to stop by. There will be other kids there too, my department head is bringing her twins. The invitation caught me off guard. We didn't do social gatherings. Birthday parties for Lily's classmates were about the extent of our social calendar these days. But looking at Elena, her open expression, the way she'd connected with my daughter, how she'd made me feel like a person again, not just a grieving widower, I found myself nodding. We'd like that, I said. What can we bring? Her smile was worth the anxiety I already felt about the prospect of socializing. Just yourselves. And maybe Lily can help me identify all the shells I've collected but can't name. After she left, I stood in the quiet house feeling strangely energized. For the first time in 18 months, I found myself looking forward to something that wasn't centered around Lily's needs or my work obligations. It was a small thing, a neighbor's housewarming party, but it felt monumental. The week passed in a blur of routine, work, school pickup, homework, dinner, bedtime, but underneath ran a current of anticipation. Lily asked daily how many more days until Miss Elena's party, and I found myself wondering what Elena's house looked like inside, whether she'd managed to unpack all those boxes, what her colleagues were like. Saturday arrived sunny and mild. Lily insisted on wearing her favorite dress, the one with pockets and butterflies that Sarah had bought her for her 6th birthday. I helped her brush her hair and tie it back with a ribbon, then stood looking at my own reflection in the bathroom mirror. I'd lost weight since Sarah died, my face more angular, shadows under my eyes that never quite disappeared. I ran a hand over my jaw, deciding to shave for the first time in days. You look handsome, Daddy, Lily said, appearing in the doorway as I buttoned a clean shirt, one I usually saved for parent-teacher conferences. Thanks, sweetheart. You look beautiful too. Do you think Miss Elena will like my dress? I'm sure she will. Lily twirled, making the skirt flare out. I think Mommy would want us to have fun today. Her words stopped me cold. We didn't talk about what Sarah would want or think very often, it was too painful, too complicated to explain to a 7-year-old the nuances of grief and moving forward. But Lily's simple statement held a profound truth. Sarah would want us to live, to find joy again, to connect with others. I think you're right, I said, kneeling to her level. Mommy would definitely want us to have fun. We walked the short distance to Elena's house, Lily skipping ahead with the small potted plant we'd bought as a housewarming gift despite Elena's insistence we didn't need to bring anything. The Victorian looked different in daylight, the blue paint brighter, the white trim crisp against it. Someone had planted flowers in the window boxes, and wind chimes tinkled softly from the porch ceiling. Elena answered the door wearing jeans and a flowing top, her curly hair loose around her shoulders. You came, she said, as if she'd been worried we might not. Come in, come in. Lily, there are some kids in the backyard building a fort with sheets and clothespins. Want to join them? Lily looked at me for permission, and I nodded. Go ahead. I'll be right here. As Lily darted toward the back of the house, Elena led me through rooms that were indeed still partially boxed up but already showing signs of becoming a home. Bookshelves lined one wall of the living room, filled with marine biology texts and field guides. A large aquarium bubbled in the corner, home to several colorful fish. This is for you, I said, handing her the plant. Lily picked it out. It's a peace lily. Elena took it with genuine pleasure. It's perfect. Thank you. She introduced me to a few of her colleagues who were gathered in the kitchen, then guided me through the house to the backyard where more guests mingled. The afternoon passed pleasantly. Elena was a natural hostess, making introductions and keeping conversations flowing. I found myself talking to her department head, Dr. Chen, about the research they were conducting on microplastics in the bay. It was the first intellectual conversation I'd had in months that wasn't related to my work in IT or Lily's education. "James." Elena called from across the yard. "Come see what the kids have done." I excused myself and walked over to where Elena stood beside an elaborate fort constructed of sheets, lawn chairs, and clothespins. Lily peeked out from the entrance, her face flushed with excitement. "Daddy, look! We made a research station. Miss Elena says real marine biologists sometimes live in tents when they're doing field work." "It's very impressive," I said, crouching down to peer inside where Lily and the twins had arranged clipboards, magnifying glasses, and a collection of shells and rocks. "They've been cataloging backyard specimens," Elena explained, her eyes dancing with amusement. "Very scientific approach. Dr. Chen is quite impressed with their methodology." I straightened up, suddenly aware of how close Elena was standing. "Thanks for including Lily. She's having a blast." "I'm glad. She's a natural scientist." Elena hesitated, then added more quietly, "And how about you? Are you having an okay time? I know social gatherings can be terrifying." I supplied with a small laugh. "Actually, I'm enjoying myself more than I expected. Your colleagues are interesting, and it's nice to talk to adults about something other than work deadlines or school projects." "The glamorous life of a single parent," she said with understanding. "Something like that." I paused, then admitted, "This is actually the first party I've been to since Sarah died. Besides kid birthday parties, I mean." Elena's expression softened. "I'm honored you chose mine for your social re-entry." "Well, it was only 3 doors down. Low commitment." I was joking, but Elena's face fell slightly, and I quickly added, "That came out wrong. Again. I seem to have a talent for saying the wrong thing to you." She smiled, the momentary hurt gone. "You're doing fine. Better than fine." As the afternoon stretched into evening, guests began to leave. The twins' parents collected them with promises of future playdates with Lily, who was reluctant to dismantle the research station. Soon, it was just Elena, Lily, and me, sitting on Elena's porch steps watching the sunset paint the sky in shades of pink and orange. "Today was the best day," Lily declared, leaning against my side. "Can we come to Miss Elena's house again sometime?" I looked at Elena, who was watching us with a soft expression. "That's up to Miss Elena. We don't want to wear out our welcome." "You're welcome anytime," Elena said. "Both of you." In fact. She seemed to make a decision. "I'm going out on a research boat next weekend to collect samples. It's just a day trip in the bay. If you're interested, they allow me to bring guests sometimes. Lily might enjoy seeing what marine biologists actually do." Lily sat up straight, her eyes wide. "A real boat? With real science? Can we go, Daddy? Please?" I hesitated. This felt like more than a neighborly invitation. It felt like a step toward something I wasn't sure I was ready for. But looking at Lily's excited face and Elena's hopeful expression, I found myself nodding. "We'd love to. If you're sure it's not an imposition." "Not at all. It'll be fun to have company. Most of my colleagues get seasick, so they're not exactly fighting to join these excursions." As we walked home in the gathering twilight,